Hi, Ed. Hi, Monique. Good to see you again. I'm glad that you're on this one.
Hello again. I wasn't sure if this was still a part of the coaching or if it was.
So these weekly power hours are for everyone in my free group, but it still has value. It's not the coaching community. So the
Gotcha.
coaching community is absolutely going to be truly amazing, but you're more than welcome to jump on these. You never know. If you have extra time, you could learn something.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome. Hey, Ed, how are you? Okay, I know that we'll probably have some people trickle in, but we are going to get started. So let me share my screen. All right, so today's weekly power hour is 3 ways to stay consistent and organized in your real estate business. So I think when Monique is starting to realize how organized and consistent I am, she is in our coaching community. Good, Ed, I'm glad. Hi, Steve. So I wanted to share some of the things that I do inside of my business. So hopefully it helps you, or it's something that you could look towards in the coming year, 2025. Okay. So I encourage questions, I encourage interaction. No question is silly or stupid. So I would love for you to either unmute yourself and ask. I don't mind that you're interrupting me, or you can post directly in this chat. If you prefer to message it to me privately, when you open up the chat, you can select me in this list and it will come just to me if you prefer that. Okay. Alrighty, let's get started. So this is what we're going to cover today. Now, I could probably spend a whole day on organization and consistency, but I'm just going to touch on some of my routines. And then at the end, I'm going to give my top recommendation for reducing daily stress and increasing productivity. So for me, I'm a firm believer in 2 of these. So if you're brand new, I'm going to tell you that. And then if you're not brand new, what I did to really take my business to the next level. It might sound stupid, but it's actually not. I really try to keep things super simple. I don't think in real estate you should overcomplicate things. There's a lot of moving parts with these transactions. So keep it simple is the theme for today. All right. So number one, we're gonna talk about my weekly prep. Like, what do I do? And like I said, I do try to keep things simple. That is my motto: simple, simple, simple. I haven't put a ton of different craziness into my daily routines and weekly routines and monthly and all of that. Kept it very, very simple. I've been doing this now since 2007. A lot of my processes are still in place, or I've upgraded them slightly. So let's just keep it simple, okay? So as you start to plan for 2025, you'll think back at these lessons, hopefully, okay? So every single week, now you could do this on a Monday if you wanted, but I do have specific things that I do weekly, and we'll talk about that in the daily routine. But in my weekly prep, on Sundays, I like to do it Sunday mornings because my kids can sleep in. We don't have church until 10. So I typically wake up at 6. I do that daily. I heard a long time ago, hey, wake up at the same time every single day. Now in the summers, I'll allow myself to sleep in a little bit more, but I wake up at 6 and I grab my coffee. It's super quiet and I print out all of my deals from the MLS, okay? So there's a way to go into your MLS and you can print it all out. Now, at one point, my team had 70 listings going on, okay? That was pre-pandemic. We're trying to get back there post-pandemic, okay? But this simple system allowed me to stay organized with all of that. Okay. So I took the MLS printout, and then on that, I would figure out exactly where that deal is at. Now, you may not be at the point yet where you have a transaction coordinator. I do, and we'll touch slightly on that with the reducing stress part. So every single Monday, she does send me an email of what is missing for our deals. She keeps very good track of that. Okay. But I like to print out all of my deals and go through all of them. Okay. This one had a lot of showings. Bonnie needs to follow up with these people. I will circle them if I know that a closing is coming up, and I'll go through and analyze the commission and make sure we're all on track for that. So I really go through step by step, and sometimes this takes me 30 minutes, sometimes it takes me an hour. It just depends on how many deals we have. You don't have to print off the MLS sheet. Maybe you keep a Google spreadsheet, and that way your transaction coordinator or maybe yourself can put in missing items there. The Google spreadsheets are great because you can actually see things getting updated real time. But I like to physically print things and go through them. Okay. So see, this is what I went through. And I'm literally marking everything off. Now, these are my pending deals. And so we had 2 closings this week, but I'll go through, what do I have to do for the closings? So one by one, go through and figure out where you're at, what you need for every single deal. Okay. That's what I do. I analyze every deal. And then after I do all of that, I will go to my Google Calendar and I will review it. So I usually try to start on Fridays to prepare my to-do list. So my Google Calendar, just so you know, has everything personal, business, kids stuff. Okay. I don't color coordinate anything. Everyone's always super surprised by that. But I don't know, I never did. So you could certainly color coordinate if it's like business or if it's personal or whatever. You could certainly do that. I didn't want to do that though. So I will take these. So I've started already my to-do list for next week, and I'm going to share that with you. I will go through and put all of this stuff on my to-do list. Okay. So not only is it here in my Google Calendar, but I also am going to transfer it to my to-do list because I personally like to print it and then cross it off as I go. Now, I do add to that throughout the week, depending on what is needed, if something else comes up, and then I use Sharpies and I cross them off. I'm sure there's apps to do this online if you prefer that. Kind of old school, I'd rather still print and make notes that way. Okay, so let me stop my screen sharing and I'm going to pull up my to-do list. Okay. So this is my to-do list. This has literally been the same for years. There's certain things that I do every single week, and those just stay on my to-do list, okay? And then every single week I will add to it. So and we'll talk about my daily task, and I'll re-show the to-do list in a second. But this is how I go in and prepare it. So this is what works for me. So not everything that I do is going to be something that you want to do. So for example, my husband, looking at this to-do list makes his head spin. He doesn't like this sort of thing. He has his own way of organizing inside of his brain on what needs to be done. But for me, because I'm handling 2 businesses, household stuff, plus I have 2 boys in middle school, I'm handling their schedule, and my husband also has a business and things going on. It is craziness here. So this is what works best for me. So you can take tidbits from this lesson and implement it into your daily, weekly, monthly, yearly routine. Okay. So I have everything on here, and then I have some miscellaneous items that I want to work on. Okay. So I even have groceries. Like tomorrow I'm going to go get groceries. So Fridays is like my day that I try to keep for myself, do something for myself, get groceries, prep for the weekend stuff. Okay. All right. So we're going to come back to this to-do list. All right. So that's number one. Any questions on like my simple weekly routine? Okay. Let's go into the daily stuff. Okay. So depending on the day, I have different things going on. And I'm going to go back to the to-do list and refer to that here in a second. But I have some non-negotiables. So if either of you have a non-negotiable, whether it's personal or business, I would love for you to share it in the chat if you're open to that. So my non-negotiable is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. I do a workout. Okay. So for me, that is really what keeps me motivated, keeps me just going. I feel better as a person, as a businesswoman, as a mom, as a wife, when I do that workout. Okay. So my non-negotiable is that. And so it's done 5 days a week. I have a whole routine and organization behind that as well. So that is my non-negotiable. Hey, Charles, how are you? You haven't missed too much. We're just going into my daily routine. We did the weekly prep prior, so you can go back and watch the replay on that one. All right, on Mondays, now I do delegate a lot of this out to my transaction coordinator because people always say, Heather, how the heck do you do all of this? I mean, you're running your coaching business, you have your own real estate. I always see you doing everything with the kids. And my husband has events. Yes. So I have learned the art of delegation and automation. Okay. And so Bonnie is my transaction coordinator. She does do a lot of this stuff. But on Mondays, we try to get updates on all of our deals. So, where is financing at? Are we on track? Some of these are short sales, some of them are not. I always stress that when you get a short sale approval letter, your job is not done. So I might be annoying when it comes to all that, but I want to make sure everything's moving towards that closing date for the contract or for the approval letter. So Mondays we do that. On Tuesdays and Fridays is when Bonnie calls the banks. So let me just look at something real quick. Okay. So Tuesdays and Fridays is when she calls the banks. Okay. So for example, she has to call. Now it's not every Tuesday and Friday. We always have some bank that we need to call, but it depends on where it's at in the process. Do we have offers? Do we not? So like if you see, we have some of these that are way far out. So we don't have offers on these ones yet. Okay. But this particular one, we are trying to get an updated payoff. This is an equity sale. And I'll touch on our course later on the equity sales, but this deal came from an attorney, okay? And he actually has an auction date scheduled in October. See? So Bonnie will call and get updates from these banks. This is a simple system. Keep track of all of your conversations, whether it's with a bank, and this isn't even a short sale, but we're trying to help move along the process. We're ordering a payoff because we are supposed to close next Friday. Okay. So that's her job for tomorrow, is to call this bank. So lender updates are typically on Tuesday and Friday. So every single day when I get done with my workout and I have my healthy breakfast, I will come and I will sit down at my desk. And the first thing I do is I review any social media posts that I may have. So I can automate a lot of that stuff, and I do if I can, or Bonnie will do the postings. So you may see me a lot on social media, but it may not always be me. It's my virtual team. Okay. Hey, Dee. Thanks for joining us, Dee. So Dee is also a part of the coaching community. I love that you're here. I'm trying to give as many tips and tricks on my weekly and daily routines and some follow-up stuff. So feel free to ask questions. You can post them or unmute yourself. Okay, Monique has a question. Do you find it easier to keep phone combo updates in calendar versus CRM? That's a great question, Monique. Super excited that you asked that because I'm going to talk about how I handle the CRM and my Google Calendar in the next part. So just hold off on that. I think it will get your question answered in number 3. Okay. Okay. So any social media posts that I need to do will be done first. Again, a lot of that is delegated out, but I do try to review. Hey, did my team do this? Just look at all of that, okay? And then my follow-up calls with any leads are going to be super important, right? So like right now, I'm talking to close to a dozen people from our new campaigns. A couple of them are attorney stuff. And so I want to follow up with them. And I do that. So, but I also keep track of all of my conversations. So for example, today I have 3 people. Now these 3 people are coming from our new course, which is the postcard and text campaign. And Christopher I connected with last Thursday. Okay, so I'm keeping track of our conversations. So because I've only communicated with him on text, I feel now is a good time to reach out to him on the phone. I don't have his email, but I will call, I will leave a message, and then I will follow it up with a text. And today, when I do that, I will keep track of all of that here, okay? So like today, I have 3 different people to reach out to. And those 3 people are also on my to-do list. But I like to refer back to the conversations here. Now, Christopher has an auction date December 12th. Obviously, we have some time, but time is always super crucial when someone has an auction date. Not every single person that we connect with will have an auction date or will be a short sale. And so we don't know, but we want to help everyone list their home if we can. So I then go through and make any calls that I need. Now, if there's, so for example, I have a guy, see if I can find him. Jim. I don't keep a ton of notes in my calendar anymore because I have this weird thing in my brain that I literally know what's going on with every single person. I think that just comes with 17 years of dealing with this. But I highly recommend until that happens to your brain that you keep track of all of your conversations. So like I made a note here, like Jim doesn't like to be called until after 2. So if that's the case, I make sure that I just set an alert and I know to call him after 2. Okay. All right. And then I'll go through and do everything else. So obviously there's a lot of stuff on my to-do list. I do not freak out if I don't get everything done on that to-do list for that particular day. A lot of this stuff will transfer to the next day. So for example, I was supposed to have 2 closings on Tuesday. One of them got pushed back to Wednesday. Well, I just kept it on my Tuesday, and then I knew once Wednesday come and it was all done, then I would go in. I would complete my task, Bonnie would complete hers, okay? All right, any questions on the daily stuff? All right, let's move on. So, Monique, hopefully this answers your question. So I do have a CRM. If you do not have a CRM, I would be happy to connect you with Perfect Storm. We do have some discounts. If any of you heard of Josh Smith, he's the one that handles Perfect Storm. I like Perfect Storm. Why? Because it's simple, okay? You can get a website through them. You can run ads. I mean, it's great. So I'm going to just show you, I'm going to show it to you because I have Perfect Storm, okay? We do run drip plans inside of Perfect Storm. We actually have them for families that have an auction date, And then we have them for pre-foreclosure. Oh, great. Yeah, I really like, I like Perfect Storm. I mean, look, if you have a CRM and it works, don't change something if it's not broken. You know, I try to provide inside of our community all the tools that I use to get me to where I'm at today. But if you have KV Core, whatever system you're using and you love it, don't change it. But I like Perfect Storm because, like I said, it's just easy. I think I've had it since 2015. So when I find something, I'm pretty loyal and I just like run with it. So I like Perfect Storm. Again, if you don't have a CRM, I would look into that as a plan for 2025. And I'm happy to connect you with Josh. But we have, so inside of our community, and I know Monique and Dee, you're in there. So happy to give these to you guys. But we have two separate campaigns. One is going to be specific to auction day leads, and the other one's going to be specific to pre-foreclosure. Now, why? Why this? Well, the auction date one runs about 3 months. Excuse me. And the pre-foreclosure runs about 11. So the process is going to be different whether you are in Illinois, where it has to go through the courts. Texas, it doesn't. Okay. But we've tailored these campaigns to work. So we like to use the campaigns because we are pulling data, and some of these people have emails. Do I get a lot of response from email campaign? No, I don't, but it is a part of Bonnie's job daily to go in and see if anyone's asked to be unsubscribed, even though we have the unsubscribe button, okay? To make sure we're following all the rules and regulations. That's super big, okay? But it's great to have these, to implement them, turn them on, put the leads in, and forget about it, okay? The whole idea, especially inside of our community, is to have these homeowners see you all over the place. So they're going to see Dee at community events. They're going to see Monique at her attorney's offices with the books. They're going to see us in the postcards. They're going to see us in the series letters. They're going to see us social media. They're going to see us in an email. They are going to continue to see Heather J. Keller everywhere. That is how you build your name and, reputation and stuff, right? Everywhere. Yes, top of mind, okay? So while I don't get a ton of leads from this, I know they're opening them. You can track that information and it does work. So the big thing is why I'm showing you this is it's a part of my follow-up plan. So as many leads that we can put into the system, we put it in there. If they do respond to us, now this is only emails. For the people that are a part of the community, we do have the new text campaigns that are out. Obviously, that's not in here. So if someone were to call off of one of our marketing pieces, or they would respond to our CRM here, or they would respond to our text campaign, I still keep them in here if they're in here, okay? But I then move them to my Google Calendar. Okay, Monique? So me personally, even though this is simple, there's a lot going on here. Tons of stuff. So I prefer to keep track of our conversations in Google. I'm not saying that you have to. Maybe you find that keeping track of the conversations in your CRM is better. I don't know. But for us, we like to keep track of it in Google because when I go and prepare my to-do list every single Sunday, and then when I print it on Monday, I know that, okay, today I have to call Jamar. And so Jamar's in here. I don't have to go in, I keep track, or here's Christopher. I keep track of the conversations right here. Okay. And then if I'm able to get that lead, I just go in and I'll change it to listing appointment. And then all the information is essentially there. So that's how I found it to just be, for me, easier and simpler for me. Okay. Any questions on that? Okay. Okay. So, I don't know where you all are at in your real estate career. I would love to know how many years. I turned 41 in July, and I've been doing this since I was 23. So a very long time. I couldn't imagine doing anything else, but I have two recommendations. One of them is for a new agent. So I don't know if you're a new agent, but maybe someone later on is watching this video and they're a new agent. When you're a new agent, there's a lot going on. Hey, come to this brokerage. I got all these classes, or join this team. I would say if you're brand new, figure out what you want. Okay. This isn't about all the noise around you. Figure out what you want to do. If you are thinking more, oh, I want to be a first time home buyers agent, great. Run with that, work with that daily, and try not to do anything else. Okay. So when I first started, I wanted to do short sales, period. So I went full force into short sales. Other people are like, hey, market for buyers, do this. And I was like, nope, short sales, that's it. And because I stuck with that, it led to other things. Okay. So yeah, I take on buyers now, but it's may have been from short sales or whatever. So if you're brand new, try to limit the noise around you, and don't go to a brokerage just because, someone else went there. Figure out what is going to be best for you, your family, if you have one, and your future. Okay. So if you're brand new, that's my biggest recommendation. I don't know how many agents I see in all of these groups or talk to, and they're like, oh yeah, I'm trying to do like 6 different things. Just don't be like, you could add all those, but not right now. Start with something and get good at that. Okay. If you are, maybe a few years in, or you're taking on a lot of business, this was me. I was stressed daily to the max. And until I learned to let go of some things, I was not growing. I was stuck in this daily stress forever. So imagine being a brand new mom and running a business of like 70 listings. I was literally working 24/7. I don't want to work 24/7 anymore. So I learned the art of automation if I could automate it, and delegation if I could delegate it out. I brought on my transaction coordinator in 2016. And honestly, I wasn't really sure. Am I going to be able to pay her? Am I not? I've never not been able to pay her, but she has taken so much off of my plate. It allows me to do other things like these sessions, like coaching inside of my community. Okay. So learn to let go of certain things. Look at your daily routines. Look at your weekly routines. Look at your monthly routines. Look at your yearly routines. Figure out what could you delegate out. Okay. So that's my biggest thing. Once I learned automation and delegation, it was like a game changer for me. And now when something comes up, I'm like, okay, can Bonnie do this? There's certain things, if she is not licensed, so there's certain things she can do, certain things she can't do. But I also have another agent on my team that will run around, take photos if we need, put on a lockbox, meet with my homeowners. But it took me a long time to get to that point. Okay. But I'm really stressed out now. If you've been on these weekly power hours or you're in my community, you see I'm pretty happy like all the time, not really stressed. So that's my biggest thing. Any questions on that or comments? Okay, cool. Hopefully that was helpful. All right, so I know Debbie and Monique are already a part of our program. And so if you would like more information about that, this is where I'm going to go into that information. So we did a huge launch last week, and we have launched all new courses. But if you want to be a part of our Blueprint Listings coaching community, it's $75 a month, and that is going to include twice weekly live trainings, access to all of our past vault, and our community and support. Okay, so our Facebook community has a lot going on. There's like 2+ years of information in there, so you can find a lot. I'm just going to show it quickly. Excuse me, allergy season is approaching. All right, so this is our community. So this is just a funny video. Someone else was showing their office. So, but there's a lot going on. So people are asking questions. People are posting videos of the QR codes that we're doing. Lots of interaction, lots of great collaboration as well. So this is our text message campaign. Bonnie posted her video. There's Debbie asking a question, which hopefully, Debbie, I did answer that, or D, I need to call you D. I did answer that, D, at the beginning of our session before here. So lots of stuff going on here. You would be a part of this community because we're all in here to learn together and become the listing specialist in your area. It doesn't necessarily have to be distressed sales. We are doing so much more. That is why I went in and I updated every single course. So over the last several months, I think I've redone like 400 videos. It's really crazy. But if you want to see what is coming up for our series training, you can scan this. So it is going to take you to this document. So this week we just had some check-ins. Next week we are starting our Facebook series training. So I'm going to take our members through step-by-step on how to build a group locally for them to generate leads. And so this is an 8-part series. And then some days will be check-in. It's all labeled here. And then my favorite one, if you're like, holy crap, I really need to figure out how to get organized. I thought I was going to do it this year, but guess what? This year's almost over. This would be for you. It's our game planning series training. So this is something that I do every single year. It is how to review your year, how to set up everything for next year. So that way, when tax season comes, you're not a hot mess and you can just have everything ready to go for your accountants. It's a really, really great series. I've actually prepared a whole PDF on how to prepare your game plan and all that. So super fun. And then we'll end fall series in December and we will return in January for some new awesome stuff. So that will, if you scan this, it will take you directly to that download. Okay. And then we have just all of the new courses. So these are the current courses that we have. So the auction date leads is specific to short sales. Now you may still get some equity sales, but this is going to have the letter that I've used for 13 years. We just stopped that letter in April because that's when we tested the postcard and text campaign. So I do not release anything inside of the community without testing it first. Okay, very, very important to me. The equity sale is going to be a letter that's specific to equities, but you may still get some short sales. Okay, doesn't really matter. We really just want to help. And then we have the pre-foreclosure series letter. We have the 2 books, which are going to be really valuable resources if you're planning to do community events, or most importantly, build those relationships with attorneys, which does take time, but it will be your bread and butter if you follow the course step by step. It will be your bread and butter moving forward. Okay. And then these are all the coming soons. So when are these going to be released? That's still a secret, but some of them will be this year. Okay. So before sale, I have done all of these, but we're going back and retesting some. Okay. So for sale by owner, expired, delinquent HOAs, we get a lot of those. Divorce leads, reverse mortgages, bankruptcy, delinquent property taxes. And this one would be, how do I go to brokerages to try to get agents to give me their distressed sales? Okay. That's a big one. I've actually gotten a lot of business from that. I created a whole book that you can give to these agents and explain the process and then ask for their business afterwards. So it's really great. Okay. Latanya, you're coming in late. You missed like almost everything, but that's okay. All right, so if you want to learn more about those courses, you can scan this. It will take you to a download and you'll be able to see what the name of the module is and every single lesson that is in that module. And I can go back to any of these that you haven't scanned. And that's it. So any questions on today's 3 ways to stay consistent and organized? Or any questions on my daily, weekly routines or follow-up?
Can I say something real quick?
Sure.
Yeah.
Is that D? Oh, hey, D.
It's D, yeah.
Yes.
I mean, I just joined the community. I'm doing the pre-foreclosure, but what I am most amazed about is the details and the step-by-step procedures on how to do everything. Like, you don't miss anything. You are like, you make sure that we like stay on the straight and narrow. Just follow this. You don't have to look left. You don't have to look right. You don't have to do anything. Just follow this. I mean, that's what I'm most impressed about. And I've been a secretary for God knows since 1985. Let's just say that. So, you know, being organized and procedure and structure is very important. And it's by far amazing. So
I appreciate that because, you know, when I had this vision of Blueprint, I really wanted to do it the right way. And it took me so many years. And I took myself out of the equation and said, okay, Heather, if you are just starting, how do you make these lessons super simple and a good follow along? And I've really put a lot of time into that, but I am very like anal when it comes to organization. So thank you. I think organization and consistency is like my best friend. So my husband thinks it's funny and will put stuff on my to-do list, like go to the bathroom. And but that's the way that works for me. And it's not going to work for everyone, but that's why you're a part of this community, D. You can post things in the group and you see the responses that you get. So thank you for commenting.
it's great. It's great.
Hi, Latanya. I know you missed a lot, but do you have any questions? We talked about lots of great tips on organization this week, so you can go back and watch the replay tomorrow. Any other questions for today? Okay, before we end, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people on. I would love for each one of you to post in the chat before you sign off some upcoming training you would love to see. So I'm trying to plan for the rest of the year. And I like to have these weekly power hours to show you my expertise, my knowledge, and hopefully eventually you'll join the listing community. But I want to know, what are some things that I could touch on in this group for the end of the year, in hopes that you can implement that now or in your 2025 planning. So if you could just chat a couple of options, one option would be great. And I'll stick around for a little bit if there's any additional questions. Otherwise, I hope all of you have a blessed week. And go Bears. We'll see.
Go Giants.
Giants, okay. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, it's been a long time coming for these Bears fans, so.
I don't follow football, so my husband does. So, but you know, I support. I'm a native New Yorker, so.
Okay. I don't know. I do enjoy football. Not a huge sport fan, but I like football. So we'll see what happens. If they can keep me, if they're good, it keeps me more connected.
Right.
You're welcome, Monique. Have a good day.
I think Latanya's got something to say. She unmiked.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, go
Hey,
ahead.
ladies, how are you?
Hi.
So, Heather, I know I joined late. Was this just a recap of what we went over last week, or is this something in
No.
addition to that?
So you just joined at the time that I was talking about the coaching community, but
Okay.
this is what we went over this week. So
Oh,
hold on. So we went through my just some tidbits on my weekly prep routine, the daily routine, and then a sneak peek of my follow-up. So, and
okay.
then I gave some recommendations that have helped me over the years for reducing stress, which ultimately increased productivity for our team. So yeah, the replay is usually out on Fridays. So you can watch the replay.
Okay, I will do. Thank you. And I'm
You're
also
very
joining
welcome.
this afternoon. I just watched the full replay
yay.
from last week. So yeah, I'm super excited. So thank you.
Yeah, so when you join, you'll get put into the community, and then you can start next week with the Facebook series training.
Okay.
So we're live inside of the coaching community on Tuesday and Thursday at 10 a.m. Central. And then you're still more than welcome to join these weekly power hours.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to be as in depth, obviously, as the coaching community. I put literally 1000% into that, but I still like to give some people some really great information here. So
Thank you.
You're welcome. Ask if they're
You're
working
amazing.
with. If I represent the home seller short sale, if a buyer comes in, do I ask them if they have a signed? Okay, so my office doesn't love dual agent. I don't love being a dual agent. I know it's more money, but it's just for me complicated. So I do have someone that I would refer out, and she would just give me a referral fee. But if someone were to call you, I mean, things are changing, right? So I would ask them exactly right if they're working with a realtor, just like Dee said. Okay, because now if you want to show, technically, when you show these houses, you have to have that agreement in place. And I'm being super strict with that now. I don't know how they're really regulating all of that, but I would get that agreement signed right away. Now, I'm not 100% sure yet how the short sale banks, servicer, and investors are going to approve the buyer's commission. I am getting ready to get an offer on a property that is a Fannie Mae deal. There is one mortgage and 2 home equities, and we are going to ask for 2.5%. And so inside of the coaching community, I am going to walk everyone through step by step on that deal when we do get that offer. So at the end of that, we'll know what is Fannie Mae paying as far as buyer's commission. So it's kind of fun and exciting. But yes, that's exactly what I would do, Charles. All righty. Any other questions? Okay. Thanks everyone for joining. You have a great weekend too, Dee. And I'll see you next Thursday.